everyone, we are back. It's Weather for Weather Geeks time on the day after Christmas. Hope you and yours had a pleasant holiday stretch. This is the first Weather for Weather Geeks in something like 10 days. I had some time off, even though I really wasn't off much because we had a lot of weather to keep track of last week in the lead up to Christmas. A well-advertised cold snap with a lot of wind, a sudden temperature drop, some snow, yes, but the snow was kind of, as we talked about, not a huge concern locally. The bigger impacts generally the wind, the blowing snow, and, of course, the very cold temperatures. Let's do a quick review of where we've been. At the airport, we did officially pick up 4.3 inches worth of snow Friday. That number seems a little inflated to me. I think 2 to 3 inches was a little more common in most of our area with the snow part of this, but we're splitting hairs here. It was hard to measure. It was all blowing around. And again, the wind and the cold, what we will remember that pre-Christmas storm for. And we're going to finish the month well behind average in terms of snowfall. Despite 4.3 the other day, we're still 6.7 inches behind schedule through the first 26 days of the month, and we probably won't see another flake of snow, aside from maybe a flurry tonight. We probably won't see a flake of snow for the rest of the month. They've seen lots of flakes of snow off to our north, and, we are interested in this, and we pay attention to it, and we make some jokes about it, and we kind of are gasping at some of the footage and some of the pictures and videos from Buffalo, but it is serious. People have died, unfortunately, due to the cold and the drifting and just the heavy snow amounts up in the Buffalo area. This is one of several big lake effect events they've had in western New York so far this season. This is just over the last 72 hours, and we're at the top of the scale here on our color bar. There's some places have seen 3-4 plus feet worth of snow just since this Arctic attack got underway at the end of last week. On some of our area rivers, we have some patchy ice. Some of the more shallow lakes and ponds have certainly frozen over the last couple of days. On the big lakes, the Great Lakes, Lake Erie is about 20% ice covered at this point, most of it on the shallow western end of Lake Erie, and that end is running even more shallow than usual because of the big windstorm a few days ago blew all the water out towards Buffalo, and it got really shallow in the western end of Lake Erie. But yeah, pretty solid ice coverage out there for the time being. Lake St. Clair near Detroit is pretty much frozen over. We have some patches of ice up into Lake Huron as well, and the southern end of Lake Michigan. This is probably going to peak tomorrow and into Wednesday morning, and then a lot of this ice is going to melt. In the next couple of weeks, we'll probably see almost 0% ice coverage on the Great Lakes by the end of that first week of January. All right, in the record books today, it's a noteworthy day. Some of you may remember this one. I certainly do. I worked this one 10 years ago today, the day after Christmas, 2012. 10.7 inches worth of snow at the airport. Of course, some places had a little more, some places had a little bit less. This is a doozy of a post-Christmas storm on this date 10 years ago. We had a little bit of light snow and some flurries earlier on today. Just some candy coatings here and there. That's about it. Might be a stray flurry or two before the night is through. No impacts really from that. Actually, they've seen a little bit of impactful snow in some of the southern U.S. today. Doesn't take much to be impactful in places like Birmingham, Alabama, and Atlanta, Georgia. Little candy coatings and dustings. That's going to cause some problems on the day after Christmas when a lot of people are out and about, exchanging presents and that sort of thing. So they've had their hands full with just a little skiff of snow down in the southeastern U.S. today. For us, the clouds are going to hang tough tomorrow, but despite the clouds, it's going to be a somewhat better day. Now, we're not going to celebrate 30 degrees and cloudy in most circumstances, but hey, we've been well below freezing, even well below zero at times over the last few days, so we'll take a day where we get up to about 30 despite the clouds on our Tuesday. Wednesday, some clouds, but then it turns out to be partly to mostly sunny. Actually, a pretty nice afternoon on Wednesday. We'll get into the lower 40s, and that trend will continue into Thursday. This is the thaw that gets underway in earnest by Wednesday and will continue right into the weekend and beyond. So here's today's CPC outlook, 6 to 10 days, and this is the first outlook for the new year from January 1st through the 5th, and it's pretty much a cinch. It's a lock at this point that east of the Rockies, this is going to be a milder than average stretch. How mild is it going to get? Well, when you consider our average highs are around 35 to 36 each of the next 10 days, 20 degrees above average puts us into the mid-50s on a couple of occasions. Maybe as early as this weekend, and certainly a couple of days next week could feature highs well up into the 50s and early morning lows, 30s and 40s. I think when we strike midnight, when the clock strikes midnight, Saturday night into Sunday morning for New Year's, It's probably going to be in the 40s. Now, it might be raining, but at least it will be mild and not snowing. All right, so with this kind of pattern coming up, basically no snow, aside from a flurry tonight. It will be snow-free, it looks like, for the rest of the year, and probably through the first week or so of January. How long will this milder pattern continue? Pretty high confidence that it's at least through the first week to 10 days of January. Beyond that, a lot of model advertisement at this point for a colder pattern during the second half of January, but unlike at the very end of November and start of December, I'm not seeing anything in the current modeling to suggest it will turn harshly cold in the second half of January. Now, that could change. But at this point, a month ago, we were starting to really clue in on, hey, the second half of December could be really bad in terms of cold. We're not seeing that right now in the second half of January. A colder pattern, yes. But as of right now, I'm not bullish on it being a really super crazy, abnormally cold pattern like the one we've been in over the last several days. All right, thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks. Welcome back, everyone. We'll see you back here same time, same place on Tuesday.